Welcome to MMAPlay365. I'm Newsome and I'm here to give you a Base AI recap from our UFC prediction software from last weekend's UFC event at UFC Vegas 76. From the event's perspective, it was a really fun event. From Base AI's perspective, it was a really good event as well. Overall, it did hit only 67%, which, to be fair, is not a bad percentage, but we do like it higher. We like it in the 70s. However, when you actually break it down, which I will in the recap, man, Base AI hit some big underdogs, including what is, in my opinion, the best prediction that Base AI has ever made at MMAPlay365. It was from an underdog prediction, and it was a gem as well, which meant it hit the win, the outright win, the method of victory, and the method of victory plus round as well. So like I say, a really good event, one that I'm looking forward to recapping, which we're going to jump into right now, and we're going to start in the value section as we always do. And the first fighter we're going to talk about is Elves Brener versus Guram Kutateladze. Now again, the reason this is in the value section, it was a correct prediction from Base AI, but it was one that you probably wouldn't have took with any confidence if you did bet this. It would have been one that you thought, you know what, there's value here and I'll play it. But one way or another, playing this as a value spot or with confidence, it will have been a cash ticket for you. So Base AI had Elves Brener to win at 56%. At 56%, the odds implied is minus 127. So let me get this straight. Base AI is saying that Elves Brener should have been a very, very slight favourite at minus 127. Elves Brener was the second biggest underdog on the card at plus 500. He was a 5-1 underdog and he won as well. This is massive. This is absolutely massive. At 5-1, Base AI was saying that he should have been a slight favourite. So not only was the value here, there was insane value. Now we can take it one step further as well. So Elves Brener to win inside the distance. So again, if you wanted to be super greedy, but you really wanted that big ticket, Elves Brener to win inside the distance, that's the KO TKO plus the submission percentage equals 46%. At 46%, that's plus 117. So even Base AI was saying for Elves Brener to win this fight by finish should have been only plus 117. That's still massively shorter than the money line on Elves Brener. But at plus 117, you go to the bookies with that expectation and you're coming out with a plus 1100 ticket on Elves Brener to win inside the distance. Again, insane value. It would have cashed as well. The only knock that I've got on this from the recap perspective is that Brener knocked Guram Kutateladze out. So Brenner's more of a submission guy and the submission percentage was much higher. So anybody that did take the submission percentage over the inside the distance, again, that would have been a losing ticket. But sometimes you've just got to go with the inside the distance by finish, by any means necessary. And this is one of the reasons why. This is a good example of why you sometimes do that, just because, you know, this is MMA, 4-ounce gloves, one punch can change a fight, and that's exactly what happened. So look, overall, Elves Brener to win outright, massive plus 500 ticket, inside the distance, massive plus 1100 ticket. That was a super good prediction from Base AI. And in the next fight, we're going to talk about Nursulton Ruziboev versus Brunno Ferreira. So this is one where we're flipping back. It was technically an incorrect prediction from Base AI, but again, still had a lot of value on the percentage that Base AI did give out. Now, Ruziboev to win, Base AI said should have been 43%. Odds implied on that is plus 133. So Base AI is agreeing with Ruziboev being an underdog. However, if you wanted to look at the value side and you're comparing the implied odds probability to what you're getting at the bookies would have given you plus 185, which I believe is the line that I bet Ruziboev as well. So it's still at plus 185, even if he'd got it a few days earlier, he was plus 150, plus 160, plus 170, or everything up to plus 185. So there was a lot of value still on Ruziboev throughout the fight week. And like I said, even though it was an incorrect prediction, from a value perspective, and you use an implied odds probability to take it to the bookies and see what value you're getting, you are getting value there. And again, we're going to go one step further. Ruziboev to win inside the distance. This is a fighter with a lot of submissions, but he's also got some KOs as well. So again, this is a good example of a fighter where you probably wouldn't have chosen a specific method of victory, or at least that would have been my advice from the percentages that Base AI gave out. But Ruziboev to win inside the distance, you add your KO, TKO, and your submission percentages together, and you get 38%. At 38%, Base AI is saying that Ruziboev to win inside the distance should have been plus 163. And even at plus 163, it's still lower than the closing money line from Ruziboev as well. So again, there's some value there. But if you take that implied odds probability and you compare it to the bookies, you're getting a plus 300 ticket, a 3-1 ticket. So there's value there as well. And of course, Ruziboev did knock Brunno Ferreira out early in round 1. So again, although it was an incorrect outright prediction from Base AI, there's still plenty of value there in both the money line and the inside the distance. So in my opinion, another good prediction. So the next fight we're going to talk about, this is the German. This is, in my opinion, from memory, the best prediction Base AI has ever provided and produced on the MMAPlay365 website. We've got Benoit Denis versus Ismael Bonfim. So Base AI had Denis to win at 56%. At 56%, odds implied is minus 127. So Base AI is saying that Denis should be a very slight favourite in this fight. The money line, you'd have got a mixture of things, but the average line was around plus 250. So you'd have got a 2.5 to 1 underdog ticket on Denis, when Base AI is saying that he should be a slight favourite. So again, a ton of value on the money line to start with. But we're going to take it to the next step. Inside the distance, that's the knockout and submission added together, like I've already mentioned a couple of times. So Denis to win inside the distance, Base AI's got at 53%. So now you've got a choice, because there's only 3% difference between Denis' money line and Denis to win inside the distance. Base AI is basically saying if Denis wins, it is going to be by finish. So at 53%, the odds implied there is minus 113. So we're still on minus money even inside the distance, which is crazy for a 2.5 to 1 underdog, a plus 250 underdog. So you've got a minus 113 implied odds probability on Denis to win inside the distance. You go to the bookies with that and you're getting plus 500. You're getting a 5 to 1 ticket on something that's still minus money. Again, it's similar to what we spoke about with Elves Brener. This is insane value at this point, and we haven't even finished yet, because we're going to go to the next tier. Denis to win via submission. So Denis is a submission artist, takedown artist, really likes the grappling world. Denis to win by submission, Base AI had at 42%. At 42%, the odds implied there is plus 138. We're on a method of victory here, and the implied odds probability is still now under the money line of Denis, the plus 250 money line of Denis. So you take the plus 138 odds implied probability for Denis to win by submission to the bookies, you're getting plus 800, and it's starting to get insane now at this point. We're going to go one step further again. Denis to win by submission in round 1 specifically, Base AI had at 37%. At 37%, the odds implied is plus 170. The method of victory plus round, to be that specific, that accurate, that correct, it's still under the money line at the bookies of Denis to win outright at plus 250. This is crazy, and it gets even crazier because at plus 170, that's your odds implied probability. You go to the bookies and you're getting plus 1700 for something plus 170, and you're getting a 17 to 1 ticket on Denis to win via submission in round 1. This is insane, and the Base AI hit it every single tier across the board. Denis won the fight. He won inside the distance. He won via submission, and he won via submission in round 1. Every single tier has got crazy, crazy value that gets more mental throughout every tier. In my opinion, this is the best overall prediction Base AI has ever produced. Massive value everywhere, on an underdog as well. Crazy, super impressed and super happy with the overall prediction for Benoit Denis versus Ismael Bonfim. So now we're going to go into our solid winners category, and we start with Alexandr Romanov versus Blagoy Ivanov. Romanov to win, Base AI had at 63%. Odds implied at 63% is minus 170. and you would have got Romanov, depending on where you bet him and when you bet him throughout fight week, you'd have got anywhere from minus 115 to minus 140. Personally, I got minus 125, so I was roughly around in the middle of that. I didn't get the earlier minus 115 lines, but they were available. So Alexandr Romanov, 63%. That's a solid prediction from Base AI at minus 170. You go to the bookies with that and you're getting some value there. Even if you hit the closing line or one of the closer closing lines at around minus 140, you've still got a ton of value. Romanov won easily. There was some market overcorrection in the betting line. There was some recency bias in the betting lines as well. Base AI doesn't have recency bias. It doesn't have that human mind that has got bias integrated into it. So at 63%, it was a solid prediction, one that won easily, one that had value. Really happy. And the next solid winner to talk about, we've got Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Kevin Lee. Now, this is a real education piece as well, and I'll go through it. So, Fakhretdinov to win outright, Base AI had at 59%. At 59%, the odds implied there is minus 144. But if you'd have gone to the bookies with that, you'd have only got around minus 190, minus 200. So, there's no value in Fakhretdinov's money line from the outright win perspective of the percentages that Base AI is giving out. So you'd have tried to go one step further if you wanted to bet this fight. So you go one step further, and now you're looking at Fakhretdinov inside the distance. So that's the KO, TKO plus the submission percentages added together, and you're getting 43%. At 43%, the odds implied is plus 133. You go to the bookies with that, you're looking at plus 225 plus 200. So now we're starting to get value. So where there was no value in the money line, you need to look further into the percentages, because Base AI gives a percentage for every possible outcome of the fight. And the money line, the outright win, had no value, but now the inside the distance does have value. So if you did want to bet the fight, you'd have gone for Fakhretdinov inside the distance where there was some value over just betting Fakhretdinov to win outright. But we can still go one step further. Fakhretdinov to win by KO TKO specifically, that's 27%. So it is a lower percentage, might put some people off. But again, you need to look at the implied odds probability, compare it to the bookies and see where you're at. And when you do that, 27%, the odds implied on that percentage is plus 270, but when you go to the bookies, you're getting plus 450. So again, a big ticket. There's value there on the specific method of victory. So yeah, now you've got a choice. You've got two value options: inside the distance or go TKO KO, and those two would have cashed, and those two did have value, and those two would have been a much preferred option than just taking Fakhretdinov to win outright, where Base AI was saying that there's not too much value there. So again, a solid prediction because it got Rinat Fakhretdinov. He won easily, but it also provided value in the depths of the percentages and the outcomes as well. So yeah, good prediction from Base AI with Rinat Fakhretdinov. And finally, the last solid prediction to talk about, and this is an underdog as well. I didn't put it in the value section just because it was pure dominance. We've got Grant Dawson versus Damir Ismagulov. Grant Dawson to win, Base AI had at 53%, so it was very slight, close to a coin flip. But at 53%, Base AI is saying that Dawson should have been a minus 113, very slight favourite. Now, again, depending on where and when you bet Grant Dawson, you'd have got anything from plus 130 down to the pick'em at minus 110. Personally, I got the good line there. I got the plus 130, the underdog price of Grant Dawson. But again, anything that you would have got on Dawson would have been value. It's just your value slightly slipping the longer you would have left it. But there's still value there nonetheless. And Grant Dawson, as an underdog, I didn't think he should have been an underdog. I thought he should have been a favourite, and that's why I've not put it in the value section. I've put it in the solid winners prediction section, because I just feel that Base AI also recognised that Dawson shouldn't have been an underdog in this type of fight. And like I said, 53%, minus 113 odds implied, and you're getting anywhere from plus 130 down to plus 100, and even a pick'em line at worst. Solid job, and Dawson absolutely dominated the fight from the first bell to the last bell. Really solid prediction, really good event overall from Base AI. And remember, next weekend we've got UFC 290, massive pay-per-view, international fight week, 2 title fights. Really excited to see what predictions Base AI is going to spin out for that one. And of course, I'll be back again next week week to recap that massive UFC pay-per-view as well. I'm Newsome. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week.